Hey guys, this is Francesca from Under the Covers, and today I'm doing a bookshelf tour. This has been a highly requested video for us to do, and it has taken quite a bit of time for us to tackle it. I know personally it's just a really daunting task because I have 5 bookshelves to show you. There's a lot of books, so hopefully I'm going to try to go pretty quick and not talk too much about each individual book, because otherwise this would be incredibly long. I'm sure it's going to be long and tedious already. So hopefully you're interested in actually looking at what I have on my shelves to make it easier. If you don't want to actually sit through the whole video of me going through my bookshelves, I do keep everything on GoodReads. So I'll leave a couple of links in the information box below for the shelves that I have on GoodReads. And I do have different shelves for the books that I own on paperback, hardcover, and the ones that are either paperback or hardcover but that I already have signed. So those are in a separate shelf. And the reason why I have that, it wasn't so much about actually knowing how many books I have or anything like that. It was so that I know when I'm going to an event which books I have on my shelves that I don't have signed yet and that I would have to bring with me to get signed, or which ones I actually want to buy. So anyway, those links will be in the information box below, and in the meantime, if you are interested in looking at my shelves, just keep on watching. So starting out, this might be a little shaky, guys, because I'm doing this part by hand. First, I have a Tasmanian Devil that I got from my best friend when I got married. In the back, I have a poster of Lover at Last by J.R. Ward. My first picture with Jason Momoa, because he's hot. In the back there, I have a signed poster of cover model Gary Taylor that I got from my friend Amanda. Thanks, Amanda. This little guy here I got during our honeymoon in Dominica. Now, that is my failed attempt at a TBR jar. And if you don't know what a TBR jar, basically you put books that you want to read that you have, and I tried that with my audiobooks. The idea is that when you need to start a new book, you just grab something from the jar and you're supposed to read that. Yeah, that did not work out for me. Behind there, I have another J.R. Ward poster that's for Lover Reborn. And as you can see, I do have some extra space. That's because I have more J.R. Ward posters that I haven't cut and put in the frames yet. Next here, I have a few picture frames with authors from, I believe these were from Book Bash in 2013. And then I have a couple of decorative things. I have a little elephant because I am obsessed with elephants and collect them, and he is so cute. And I have a mask from Venice. So my shelves are organized in alphabetical order by author's last name. I find that's the easiest way for me to find books. I've had them a couple of different ways, and I always end up taking everything down and reorganizing by alphabetical order. I am using Coaster Furniture bookshelves. I do really like them. I find that the quality is really, really nice. I'm going to try to leave links down below if I find somewhere to buy them online. So in this first shelf here, I have my Laura Adrian books. I have read the whole Midnight Breed series, and I don't have nearly as many books in the series in actual print. So the first thing in the front here is a picture I have with Laura Adrian. Next, I have 3 paperbacks from the Midnight Breed series. So I have Kiss of Crimson, Deeper Than Midnight, and Crave the Night. Then I have hardcovers of Darker After Midnight, Edge of Dawn, and Crave the Night. And last, I have my advanced reader copy of Edge of Dawn. Now on this next part of the shelf, I have more A's. There's a lot of books on this shelf that I had not gotten around to reading yet. Starting off with that list of books I have not read yet are a few C.H. Admirant books. I have A Gift from Home, For Love of Flynn, and The Marshal's Destiny. I think 2 of those are more Highlander type books. Then I have a couple of her Western contemporary romances. I have Dylan and Tyler, and I have a couple of her small town romances, One Day in Apple Grove and A Wedding in Apple Grove. And here in front of all of this getting in the way is my Cal Drago, because I love Jason Momoa. And more elephants. Okay, so moving on, I have some Bella Andra books, and now I have not read the Sullivans series. So I do believe these are the first couple of books in the series. I have The Look of Love and From This Moment On. Haven't read them. I have a couple of books in the Night Keepers series. I have no idea if these are beginning or end of the series or what, but I happened to pick these up and get them signed. So I have Magic Unchained and Dawn Keepers, and these are by Jessica Anderson. Next is the only paperback book that I have for the Dragonkin series by G.A. Aiken. This is How to Drive a Dragon Crazy. This is the advanced reader copy that I had gotten for this, and I really need to pick up more books in this series to have in paperback because I really enjoyed all the initial books in this series. They're really funny, so if you're into funny, over-the-top paranormal romance, then I highly suggest you give her a shot. And then I have High Risk and High Seduction by Vivian Oren. These are both part of her contemporary Adrenaline Search and Rescue series. Moving right along, I have a book that I keep mainly because I really love the cover. I don't know if I'll ever get around to reading it, but this is Fury by Fisher Emily. I have an advanced reader copy of The Return by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this cover was changed before the book was published, so I actually really love having the one with the old cover. Next I have Merciless by Laurie Armstrong. This is the mystery thriller pen name of Lorelei James, so if you enjoy her romance, this is what she writes in her mystery books. This is part of the Mercy Gunderson series, and I believe this is book 3. Really enjoyed this series. I highly recommend it, and I really think she writes really good mysteries, so I think you should check it out if you haven't yet. Next I have some Kerry Arthur books. 2 of these are my favorite books in the Riley Jensen series, which I did read the whole series. This is Full Moon Rising and Moon Sworn. And then I have a book from the spin-off, I think it's the Dark Angels series, and this is Darkness Unbound. Now I have not read the spin-off series yet. Next I have a couple of historical romances that I have not read either. Swept Away by a Kiss by Catherine Ashe. The Scandalous Mackenzies by Jennifer Ashley. Rules of a Proper Governess by Jennifer Ashley, and The Stolen Mackenzie Bride by Jennifer Ashley. Now I have only read the first book in that series, The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie, and I really did enjoy that book. Next I have an advanced reader copy of Otherworld Chills by Kelly Armstrong. This is a collection of short stories that pretty much concludes the Women of the Otherworld series. Here in the corner I have an advanced reader copy of Winter Halo by Kerry Arthur. And I have my picture with Kelly Armstrong. And these are the last 3 books in the Women of the Otherworld series, like full-length books. I do have them in hardcover, and they are probably my favorite just because the narrator on these 3 books is Savannah. Now, if you don't know the Women of the Otherworld series, the narrators change throughout the books, and so these 3 focus on Savannah. She's younger than the rest of the characters, and she is a witch. So her books start with Waking the Witch, Spellbound, and 13. I do think that 13 is probably one of the best last book in a series there is. I'm really happy that the author finished the series on such a high note, and she didn't just drag on the storyline. So I think for that reason, this remains one series that I really love. Okay, so we continue with the A's. The next author that I have here is Ilona Andrews, and Ilona Andrews is another one that I absolutely love. And Ilona Andrews, if you are not familiar, is a husband and wife writing team. So this picture is from the first RT I ever went to in 2011. So in here I have Magic Breaks, Magic Shifts, Hex Appeal, which is a collection of short stories, Angels of Darkness. Next up is my collection of paperbacks of Ilona Andrews, and these are really not in order, but we have Magic Bites, Night Shift, Burn For Me, this is a different series, Gunmetal Magic, Magic Rises, Magic Bleeds, Magic Strikes, Magic Slays, and Magic Burns. Like I said, these are not in the actual reading order of the series. And I also have an advanced reader copy of Magic Rises. Now the next section is my Kristen Ashley section, and a lot of these books I have not read. I know I did go to a Rock Chick Rendezvous, and so I have a couple of pictures from that, as well as my picture with Kristen Ashley from that Rock Chick Rendezvous, and a little guitar pick. I have a copy of The Gamble, Jagged, Ride Steady, Own the Wind, Motorcycle Man. And then I have a complete set of signed Rock Chick books. So this is the Rock Chick series. Starts off with Rock Chick Rescue, Rock Chick Redemption, Rock Chick Renegade, Rock Chick Revenge, Rock Chick Reckoning, Rock Chick Regret, and Rock Chick Revolution. Okay, so next I have a signed copy of The Paper Swan by Layla Attar. I have an advanced reader copy of Etched in Bone by Anne Bishop. Hardcovers of Murder of Crows and Vision in Silver by Anne Bishop. The Gin Lovers by Jamie Brenner, and this is 1920s Prohibition type novel, so this was really fun and different to read. These are also by Jamie Brenner, but writing as Logan Bell. I have not read these, but they also seem to be a little bit burlesque in theme. This is Blue Angel and Fallen Angel. And this is a book that survives every time I clean up my shelves and throw stuff away, just because I really want to read it. This is When Blood Calls by J.K. Beck. I have a flask from the Outlander Season 2 premiere that I went to in New York City. Night Sky by Suzanne and Melanie Brockman. That's mother and daughter writing team. Now that book I have not read yet. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of books on this particular shelf that I have not read. I have Take Me All the Way and Christmas and Destiny by Toni Blake. These I do highly recommend. The Highwayman and The Hunter by Kerrigan Byrne. It's a little bit darker historical romance, and I really, really love this series. I have Demon Blood and Guardian Demon by Mel Jane Brooke. I've only read the first 2 books in this series, but I just love the covers. I have the Burning Up anthology, Make You Mine by Macy Beckett. I have not read this book yet. And here's a couple more that I have not read. This was a free book I picked up at Comic-Con, The Science of Shannara by Terry Brooks, and The Warded Man by Peter B. Brett. This is my mostly Maya Banks shelf. I have Coulter's Promise, Sweet Surrender. Next is my KGI books, No Place to Run, Forged in Steel, After the Storm, When Day Breaks, and Darkest Before Dawn. Okay, moving right along, I have a few advanced reader copies here. This was also KGI, Echoes at Dawn, Shades of Grey, and Darkest Before Dawn. This was a standalone. I haven't read this yet, For Her Pleasure. Then we have my Sweet series books, and I'm so happy that I managed to get these when they still had the original covers. I have Sweet Persuasion, Sweet Seduction, Sweet Temptation, and Sweet Addiction. And then back here I have an advanced reader copy, and this is how big and bulky they used to be, of Cherished. It's an anthology with Maya Banks and Lauren Dane. Now over here I actually have a picture with Maya Banks. Alright, so and this is the last of the Maya Banks books. This is a series that I didn't read, Keep Me Safe and In His Keeping. This is the Surrender trilogy, and I absolutely love these covers. They're so colorful and pretty. I have Letting Go, Giving In, and Taking It All. And then I have the Breathless trilogy, Rush, Fever, and Burn. In here I also have Rookie Move by Serena Bowen. I have 3 books by Enrique Barrios, Amy Comes Back, and Amy number 3, and these are children's books. Next I have a few Eden Bradley books. I have The Dark Garden, which is a standalone. Dangerously Bound, it's the first, I believe, in the series. And then I have 2 books by Eden Bradley writing as Eve Berlin. I have Temptation's Edge and Pleasure's Edge. And the last book on this shelf is Driven by Kay Bromberg. The first thing I have here is a little bell, it says Ring for Sex, that I picked up in Aruba. I have a Wicked Lover's Pin by Shayla Black, and my cute little love sign. Last little knickknack on here is my Stabby Cat. We picked this up when we were at RT in New Orleans. It's supposed to be like a self-defense thing, but it's sitting on my shelf. Alright, so we start off with my Shayla Black books. His to Take, Ours to Love, Mine to Hold, The Hot in Handcuffs anthology with Shayla Black, Sylvia Day, and Shallow Walker, Their Virgin Captive by Shayla Black and Lexi Blake, Belong to Me by Shayla Black, which is probably one of my favorite books in this series, Delicious, Wicked Ties, Wicked All the Way, and back here I have a couple of the old style printed arcs. This is Mine to Hold, Ours to Love, Then we start my Lexi Blake books for the most part. I do have another Sheila Black in the back that I'm going to show you after. So first up I have Ruthless and Satisfaction, The Dame Who Loved Me by Lexi Blake, and On Her Master's Secret Service. Then I have the first 3 books in the Perfect Gentleman series by Sheila Black and Lexi Blake, Scandal Never Sleeps, which is my favorite, Seduction in Session, and Big Easy Temptation. And like I said, back there is my advanced reader copy of Belong to Me. Then I have Steal the Light by Lexi Blake. I do believe this is an urban fantasy series, but I didn't start it yet. It's the Thieves series. And last but not least, here, Shades of Grey by Amanda Bonilla. Now, this little shelf here was just supposed to have my Jonathan Adler elephant, but I ran out of space at the bottom for my Patricia Briggs, so I have my advanced reader copy of Silence Fallen by Patricia Briggs here. I'm not sure how I'm going to fix this situation because I do plan on buying every hardcover edition for the series, and I have a few to catch up on as well. So this will probably turn into Patricia Briggs as well. But down here I have a paperback of Moon Cold. This is book 1. Frostburn, Night Broken, Fair Game, Dead Heat, Fire Touched, River Marked. These are not in order. I have an advanced reader copy of Frostburned, and I have 2 volumes of the Alpha and Omega graphic novels. And moving right along here to finish off this shelf here at the bottom is my J.C. Burton collection. So the first thing here to move out of the way is a few pictures with J.C. Burton. Even though there's a lot of books here, I do want to show you guys because they have the best covers in contemporary romance. So this is my stack of play-by-play finished copies. Mistletoe Games, Unexpected Rush, All Wound Up, Quarterback Draw, Straddling the Line, Melting the Ice, One Sweet Ride, Thrown by a Curve, Playing to Win, Taking a Shot, Changing the Game, and The Perfect Play. I have my paperbacks by J.C. Burton. The first is a paperback of the new cover edition of Naughty and Wild. This is an anthology, so it has a story by J.C. Burton and one by Laura Lee. I do have another copy of this book with the original in the trade paperback size, but I really liked this cover when it came out, so I had to buy it again. And next up are my finished copies of the Hope series, starting out with the prequel or novella that started the series in the Hot Summer Nights anthology with Carly Phillips, Erin McCarthy, and Jessica Clare. Hope Flames, Hope Ignites, Hope Burns, Love After All, Make Me Stay, and Don't Let Go. Next up I have a couple of older books. So these are 3 novellas in each one of these. They are all by J.C. Burton. This has Bound, Branded, and Brazen, and this has Wild, Wicked, and Wanton. Then is the original copy of Naughty and Wild that I purchased. I have 2. Then I have my 3 trade paperback size of the Wild Riders series. So this was, I believe, book 1, Riding Wild, Riding Temptation, and Riding the Night. Actually, the Wild Riders series is how I discovered J.C. Burton because I was a fan of Laura Lee. I had read pretty much everything she ever wrote, and I was making my way through the Naughty series. So I picked up the Naughty and Wild anthology because of Laura Lee, and that's where I discovered J.C. Burton. So the first ever story that I read by her was her story in this anthology. And then this is what happened. So back here I have basically my advanced reader copies. I have Mistletoe Games and Rules of Contact. Now this is not an advanced reader copy. This is an anthology, a Christmas anthology, Holiday Kisses with Shannon Stacy, Helen K. Diamond, and Allison Kent. I have my advanced reader copy of Naughtier and Wilder, Don't Let Go, Make Me Stay, Love After All, and Hope Burns. So that's it for down here. We have finished bookshelf number 1. Alright, so this second bookshelf, we're starting with the C's. So starting off here, I have a mug from Entangled Publishing. It just says, I'm a book nerd. Then I have Unbroken by Rachel Kane. Then I have Faking It by Cora Carmack. Wild Days and Dangerous Curves by Mary Carr. Uncommon Pleasure and Liberating Lacey by Anne Callan. Illicit by Opal Carew. And next I have the Kushiel's Legacy series. These are the first 3 books. So this is Kushiel's Dart, Kushiel's Chosen, and Kushiel's Avatar. And next up I have another completed trilogy by Jacqueline Carey. This is actually urban fantasy. The Bookshelves legacy is high fantasy. So this is the Agent of Hell series. It's small town and has a really quirky set of characters, and it was just a lot of fun. The first book is Dark Currents, second is Autumn Bones, and the third and last is Poison Fruit. And the last thing that I have here is another paper arc of Desire After Dark by Joe Carlisle. Okay, moving right along, we're going to go into my mess right here. So the first thing here is an Agatha Christie book. This is The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. Next up, let's go this way. This is Kaleidoscope Hearts by Claire Contreras and Into the Shadows by Carolyn Crane. Next up, I have the Game On series. This is New Adult Contemporary, which I highly also recommend this series. I do enjoy it. This is book 1, The Hookup, book 2, The Friend Zone, and book 3, The Game Plan. Then I have Surrender by Pamela Clare, Fly With Me and Into the Blue by Chanel Clayton, Halloween Party by Agatha Christie, Touch the Dark by Karen Chan, Rough Justice by Sarah Castile, and Winter Blaze by Kristen Callahan. So the next shelf, we're still in the C's, and this could almost be like a favorites shelf. I do happen to enjoy everything that I have here, even though they're still in alphabetical order. First, I have my Alice Clayton books. I have Wallbanger, Nuts, and Cream of the Crop. And then I have an advanced reader copy of Roman Crazy. The two books that I've enjoyed the most by Emma Chase, Tangled and Sustained. Still Life with Strings by L.H. Cosway. The Hooker and the Hermit by L.H. Cosway and Penny Reed. So the first book that I ever read by her, Painted Faces. And this is the sequel to that book, Killer Queen. The Nature of Cruelty by L.H. Cosway. And books 1 and 2 in the Hearts series. This is Six of Hearts and Hearts of Fire. And the last books on this shelf are by Sydney Croft. Now, Sydney Croft is the pen name of Larissa Ayon and Stephanie Tyler, and this series is a finished series, even though I really hope that the authors would write more books in this series because I really enjoy the concept. So this is erotic romance but with an X-Men theme. Riding the Storm is book 1, Unleashing the Storm, Seduced by the Storm, Taming the Fire, Tempting the Fire, and Taken by Fire. So we're going to start with my Crested Coal section. So first are my hardcovers of the Immortals After Dark series. I have Sweet Ruin, Dark Sky, MacReeve, and Lothair. Next I have my paperbacks of the Immortals After Dark series. These are not in order, of course. So I have No Rest for the Wicked, Dark Needs at Night's Edge, Dark Desires After Dusk, Kiss of a Demon King, Pleasure of a Dark Prince, Demon from the Dark, Dreams of a Dark Warrior, Shadow's Claim, Wicked Deeds of a Winter's Night, and Dark Sky. Then I have the first two books in the Game Maker series. I have The Professional and The Master. Next I have the Arcana Chronicles series. I have the hardcover with the original cover of Poison Princess. And then I have Endless Night, Dead of Winter, and Arcana Rising. And last on my Crested Coal shelf is my ARC copy of Sweet Ruin. Okay, so we continue with more C's. I think we might be getting to the end of the C's. I have The 12 by Justin Cronin. I have the Kit Kobana series. This is urban fantasy by J.C. Daniels. So I have Blade Song, Nightblade, and Broken Blade. Then I have a few LGBT books. Let It Snow by Heidi Cullinan, Secondhand by Marie Sexton and Heidi Cullinan, and At First Touch by Devin Rhodes and T.A. Chase. And then down here I have a Sinners on Tour Olivia Cunning guitar pick. Here I have my complete signed Sinners on Tour series by Olivia Cunning. I have Backstage Pass, Rock Hard, Wicked Beat. I actually have 2 copies of Wicked Beat, Hot Ticket, 2 copies of Double Time, Sinners at the Altar. And the reason why I have 2 copies is because Wicked Beat and Double Time, I have also a paper arc. I don't keep the paper arc of every single book. And then down here I have 3 books from the Marked Man series by Jay Crownover. I have Jet, Rome, and Asa. We are pretty much done with shelf number 2. Okay, so here's another Jonathan Adler, Elephant. Then I have my Victoria Dow books. So I have the original covers for Talk Me Down, Start Me Up, and Lead Me On. Real Men Will, which this was my favorite book in the Donovan Brewery Brothers series, and Too Hot to Handle. Atonement by B.J. Daniels, Double Danger by D. Davis, and On the Run by Joe Davis. I have Monster in His Eyes in Torture to Her Soul by J.M. Darhauer. Delilah S. Dawson. This is the Blood series. So I have Wicked as She Wants, Wicked After Midnight, Wicked as They Come, and my paper arc of Wicked as They Come. Of course, these were not in order. And then I have my Tessa Dare collection. So I have When a Scot Ties the Knot, Romancing the Duke, Any Duchess Will Do, A Lady by Midnight, A Week to Be Wicked, and A Night to Surrender. And then I have more paper arcs here. Most of these, I believe, are Delilah S. Dawson. This is the paper arc for Wicked After Midnight by Delilah S. Dawson. Servants of the Storm by Delilah S. Dawson. Wicked Ever After by Delilah S. Dawson. I have 2 copies. The Damsel and the Daggerman by Delilah S. Dawson. And Wicked as She Wants by Delilah S. Dawson. Alright, so then we have more D's. So we'll start with my Lauren Dane books. The Best Kind of Trouble, Back to You, and Broken Open. That's all by Lauren Dane. That's a complete trilogy. I have 2 finished copies in the Bound by Magic series by Lauren Dane, Wild Darkness and Chaos Burning, and Blade on the Hunt by Lauren Dane. So these are the Brown siblings by Lauren Dane, and I do love these covers. I have Laid Bare, Coming Undone, Inside Out, Never Enough, and Drawn Together. Then I have an advanced reader copy for the short story Cake by Lauren Dane. And then I have Tart and Lush by Lauren Dane, and this is a spin-off of the Brown siblings. Next up I have a finished copy of Cherish, the anthology by Maya Banks and Lauren Dane. Then I have 2 paper arcs for Lauren Dane's Chaos Burning and Going Under. So these are both from the Bound by Magic series. Next I have They're All Along by Megan Hart and Lauren Dane. Now these are 2 standalone novellas, and they're both set in kind of a dystopian world. They're not connected, and as far as I know, I don't think either one of them has expanded to build a series around either one of them. So next I have my collection of Phantom Corpse sci-fi books by Lauren Dane. I love these covers. I have Insatiable, Mesmerized, and Captivated, Zoe Derrick. So I have Claiming Addison, Redeeming Kyle, and Craving Talon. So next up I have my Penelope Douglas books, Misconduct, Bully, Until You, the paper arc of Misconduct, and Falling Away. And last but not least, in this little shelf, I have Angels Inc. by Jocelyn Drake. So to finish off here, When She Wasn't Looking by Helen K. Diamond, Heart of Atlantis by Alyssa Day, which I haven't read, What a Wicked Earl Wants by Vicki Drilling, Pride and Pleasure by Sylvia Day, which I haven't read, and A Touch of Crimson by Sylvia Day. Okay, so a couple of the books I have here are Mercy by Helen K. Diamond and Fascinated by Marissa Day. The rest of what's here is Sylvia Day. So I have Afterburn and Aftershock, Pleasures of the Night. This is the Marked series by Sylvia Day, writing as S.J. Day, and it is urban fantasy. I have not read these books. So I have Eve of Chaos, Eve of Darkness, and Eve of Destruction. And then I have the Crossfire series. So I have Bare to You, Reflected in You, Entwined with You, and Captivated by You by Sylvia Day. Alright, so that's the end of bookshelf number 2. Bookshelf number 3. So I have Tricky 22 by Janet Ivanovich. I don't know why I bought this book. I stopped reading the series, I want to say, at number 19. And I did love the series. I got tired of the repetitive storylines, and I got tired of the heroine not picking one of the 2 love interests and just dragging the 2 along. So yeah, I really don't know why I picked this up. Hot Under Pressure by Louisa Edwards. Then I have 2 paper arcs for Jennifer Estep, Black Widow and Unraveled. Guardian Ranger by Cynthia Eden. Balance by Lucia Franco. King by T.M. Fraser. Dare to be Dirty by Savannah Fox. Untrue Colors by Veronica Forn. Marrow by Taryn Fisher. And a couple of older arc copies, Avenging Angel by Cynthia Eden, and the Howl For It anthology with Shelley Lawrenston and Cynthia Eden. And back here I just have a couple of badges that I got for blog tours for Lori Foster. I have Kristen Feehan Martini Glass And then I have Dark Wolf and Dark Blood by Christine Feehan. I have a couple of books by Ella Frank. I have Edible by Ella Frank and Blind Obsession. And this section here is Laurie Foster. So I'm not actually going to take them out. I have A Perfect Storm, Dash of Peril, Getting Rowdy, Bear It All, Buckhorn Beginnings, Animal Attraction, A Buckhorn Summer, All Riled Up, No Limits, and Holding Strong. In this little corner here, I have another elephant and a couple of wristbands that I've gotten at conventions. So I have my paper arc of The Beautiful Ashes by Janine Frost, and then my small collection of paperbacks by Janine Frost. I have Bound by Flames, Twice Tempted, Once Burned, Up from the Grave, First Drop of Crimson, and One Foot in the Grave. Another elephant. So these are from the Dark Warrior series by Donna Grant. I have Midnight Seduction, Midnight's Warrior, Midnight's Lover, and from her Dark Sword series I have The Darkest Highlander. And then I have Midnight Secrets by Ella Grace, which is a romantic suspense. Next I have On the Island by Tracy Garvis Graves. I think that's how you say her name. Hope I didn't butcher it. Eon by Allison Goodman. A paper arc of Demon Hunting in the Deep South by Lexi George. Twisted Perfection by Abby Glines. Geared for Pleasure by Rachel Grace. And In a Fix by Linda Grimes. Alright, so next is my mostly Karina Hale shelf. I have a little bit of swag from Karina Hale. So these are coasters for the Dirty Angels trilogy and a few pins. And my favorite piece of swag ever. So it's a door tag for the Experiment in Terror series, and it just says, "Come back later, mustache ride in progress." Okay, so starting out I have Sins and Needles, Bull Tricks, and Shooting Scars. And of course these are never in order. You see a pattern here. I'm not going to take the rest out of here, but this is my complete collection of Experiments in Terror. So I have Dark House, Red Fox, Dead Sky Morning, Lying Season, On Demon's Wings, Perception, Into the Hollow, Come Alive, Ashes to Ashes, and Dust to Dust. Now continuing here with my Karina Hale books, I have Smut. Then I have The Lie, the Play, the Offer, and the Pact, which is her standalone novels. Love in English, and the original Sins and Needles when it was still an indie book. And then here in this corner I have The Bird and the Sword by Amy Harmon, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and Affliction by Laurel K. Hamilton. Alright, so the next shelf, this is my Kim Harrison, mostly Kim Harrison, but there's other things in here, shelf. I do have an Ohio coffee mug, and the reason why I wanted an Ohio coffee mug is because the Hollow series is set in Cincinnati. I do have a paperback copy of Ever After, and the reason why I purchased this, even though I already have the hardback, is because there is a bonus short story that was only available with the paperback, and I hate when they do that. Enemy Mine by Karen Harlow. Then I have Danny Harper. These are advanced reader copies. Changeling Dawn, First Bite, and Storm Warrior. Then I have my Sherlane Harris. I have Deadlocked and Dead as a Doornail. So Dead as a Doornail was my favorite book in the Sookie Stackhouse series. I have not finished reading the last book in the series, and I probably never will. Okay, so then the rest is my Hollows books. I do have a little pin for when we were still at book number 10. It says, "Don't panic, we're only at 10." So I have 2 copies of the graphic novels for the Hollow, Blood Crime and Blood Work, Pale Demon, A Perfect Blood, Into the Woods, Ever After, The Undead Pool, and the last book in the series, The Witch with No Name. I also have in here the first book in her new Perry Reed Chronicles series, The Drafter. So mostly in this shelf back here, I'm gonna just move them out of the corner. For the most part, they're Megan Hart books, except this one. This is The Vampire Queen's Servant by Joey W. Hill. And now the rest are Megan Hart books with the original covers, and they were very difficult to find with the old covers. I have Naked, Tempted, Dirty, Broken, No Reservations by Megan Hart and Lauren Dane, Tangled Up by Megan Hart and Sarah Morgan, Tear You Apart, and Lovely Wild. I have Bright Side by Kim Holden and So Much More by Kim Holden. And then I have my Colleen Hoover book. So I have Slammed, Hopeless, Maybe Not, and Finding Cinderella. Ugly Love, and November 9. It Ends With Us, and the hardcover edition of Losing Hope. Clipped Wings and Inked Armor by Helena Hunting. I have a couple of little knickknacks here. Demons Need Love Too, and a little rubber ducky demon. A koozie from Larissa Ione. Next are contemporary romances by Julie James. I have A Lot Like Love, Suddenly One Summer, and It Happened One Wedding. Then I have the Amovio Legend books by Sarah Humphreys. I have Untamed, Untouched, and Unleashed, and Dearest Rogue by Elizabeth Hoyt. Then I have A Stone in the Sea by A.L. Jackson, Free Falling by S.E. Jakes. This is Stephanie Tyler writing as S.E. Jake when she writes her LGBT male books. And then I have my 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. So now we start my Larissa Ione collection. I have the Demonica series, Pleasure Unbound, Desire Unchained, Passion Unleashed, Ecstasy Unveiled, and Sin Undone. So then I have more Larissa Ione, and this is the spin-off of the Demonica, the Lords of Deliverance series. However, they're still considered Demonica books. To be exact, these four are like their own series. So this is the Lords of Deliverance, which starts with Eternal Rider, Immortal Rider, Lethal Rider, and Rogue Rider. Then after that she went back to the Demonica series, so we have Reaver and Revenant. And then I have a paper arc and a finished copy of Chained by Night, and this is the second book in the Moonbound Clan Vampires by Larissa Ione. Then over here in the corner I have the anthology Blood Red Kiss by Larissa Ione, Cressley Cole, and Gina Showalter. These are by my good friend Melanie Jane, All In, You Only, Change for the Good, and The Party Plan. Alright, so I'm going to start with what I have over here in the corner, because it's actually just 4 paper arcs. These are Al Kennedy I Have Claimed, Midnight Alias, Midnight Revenge, and Midnight Pursuit. And I keep these here because on my next shelf, which is where I keep my Al Kennedy, they don't fit. And this last bottom here of this bookshelf is all my Lorelei James books. So I do keep a picture with Lorelei James, and this is from her swag, a little bowl. So starting out, I have the Mastered series, Bound, Unwound, Unraveled, and Caged. So next are my paper arcs by Lorelei James. I have Hang Tough, Just What I Needed, What You Need, Wrapped and Strapped, Hillbilly Rockstar, Turn and Burn, and One Night Rodeo. Next up I have the Need You series, and these are finished copies. I have What You Need and Just What I Needed. And then I have my finished copies of the Blacktop Cowboys, Hang Tough, Wrapped and Strapped, Hillbilly Rockstar, Turn and Burn, One Night Rodeo, Wrangled and Tangled, and Saddled and Spurred. And then I have my Rough Riders series, which is not all the Rough Riders books, but I have Cowboy Up and Ride, Branded as Trouble, All Jacked Up, Raising Cain, Cowboy Casanova, Gone Country, Redneck Romeo, and Cowboy Take Me Away. So this is the end of bookshelf number 3. We are moving on to bookshelf number 4. Alright, so on the other side of the room, I have 2 more bookshelves. So on top of these 2 bookshelves, I just have a couple of knickknacks, nothing too crazy there. And we're going to get started with bookshelf number 4. So the first thing I have here is an Under the Covers coffee mug. And then I have books by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I have After I Do, Forever Interrupted, and Maybe in Another Life. Then I have a couple of Kat Johnson books. I have One Night with a Cowboy, Red Hot and Blue, and Duty and Desire. So those are by Kat Johnson. And then I have by Lissa Renee Jones, If I Were You and Being Me. I have Virginia Cantra's Carolina Dreaming and Carolina Blues. And I have Forgotten Seas by Virginia Cantra, which is part of her Panorama Romance series. Then I have my paperbacks of Stasia Kane's Downside Ghosts. So I have Unholy Ghosts, Unholy Magic, City of Ghosts, Chasing Magic, and Sacrificial Magic. Another Kat Johnson, this is Midnight Ride. And I have 2 Darking Chronicles by Elle Jasper. I have Eventide and Dark Love. Now up here I have When All the Girls Have Gone. This is the paper arc by Jane Ann Krentz, and Hard Rules by Lissa Renee Jones. And here I have a little shot glass from the Raw convention that Laura Lee hosted in 2012 that I attended. And then I have my hardcovers of Dorinda Jones, Charlie Davidson. I don't have the complete series, and I do need to track down a couple that I'm missing. But I have Third Grave, Dead Ahead, Fourth Grave, Beneath My Feet, Fifth Grave, Past the Light, Sixth Grave, On the Edge, Seventh Grave, and Nobody, Eighth Grave, After Dark, The Dirt on Ninth Grave, and The Curse of 10th Grave. Okay, so a couple of things here are not quite in alphabetical order, but I've really been putting them wherever they fit for right now, and if I wait until everything is perfect, then I'll never film this video because I still even have books that I haven't put on my shelves. So we continue, but I have 3 books here by L. Kennedy: Addicted, Claimed, and Ruled. And I have a little koozie from Kat Johnson that says Got Heroes. Next I have Off the Record by K.A. Lind and Clearwater by Amy Lane. Then I have some Laura Lee books. I have Heat Seeker, Stygian's Honor, Dawn's Awakening, Lion's Heat, and Law's Justice. Then I have Night Pleasures by Sherilyn Kenyon, Hard as You Can by Laura Kay, and then I have 3 more L. Kennedy. So these are from the Killer Instincts series, which is to this date my favorite romantic suspense series that I've read. So I have Midnight Revenge, Midnight Captive, and Midnight Action, which is still my favorite. Now you're going to start to see what I mean about the mess, because we go back to Laura Lee and L. Kennedy here. So I have Rule Breaker in hardcover by Laura Lee, then the Off Campus series by L. Kennedy. I have The Goal, The Score, The Mistake, and The Deal. Then I have my paper arc of Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, Maverick by Laura Lee, Cocky Bastard by Penelope Ward and V. Keeland, What a Goddess Wants by Stephanie Julian, Naughty Enchantress and Naughty Temptress by Laura Lee, Renegade and Heat Seeker by Laura Lee, Hot Alphas, this is an anthology with Charlotte Walker, Kate Douglas, Lauren Lynn McGee, and Laura Lee, Taken by Laura Lee, The Distraction by Sierra Kincaid, Misunderstandings by Tiffany King, Release Me by Jay Kenner, and West of Want by Laura Kay. Then we have some books that I have read and some that I haven't. So I have quite a few Sherilyn Kenyon books, and I have to admit I have not read this series. So we'll start with the Sherilyn Kenyons. I have Dragon Mark by Sherilyn Kenyon, Son of No One. Then I have Acheron, Styx, Born of Fury, Born of Betrayal, and Born of Legend. Then I have Brown Eyed Girl by Lisa Kleypas. This was the advanced reader copy, and this is from the Travis's series. The Friday Harbor series by Lisa Kleypas, Christmas Eve at Friday Harbor, Rain Shadow Road, Dream Lake, and Crystal Cove. And then after that we have the Mass Markets for Lisa Kleypas. These are from her new historical series. So it starts off with Cold Hearted Rake, and the second book is Marrying Winterborn. Then I have Mine Till Midnight and Worth Any Price. And from the Wallflower series I have Devil in Winter and Secrets of a Summer Night. And again The Magic. And then the 3 original books in the Travis series, Sugar Daddy, Blue-Eyed Devil, and Smooth Talking Stranger. So starting over here I have some L's, and the first book here is a collection of 3 books by Tara Lane. The collection is called Balls to the Wall, and it has fireballs, volleyballs, and beach balls. Then I have some Emma Lang books, which is historical, western. This is Beth Williamson writing as Emma Lang, and of course I don't have them in order, but I have Brody. I have an advanced reader copy of Brody, Matthew, which is book 1, and Caleb. Then I have some mass market paperbacks: Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning, Tempted by Blood by Laurie London, Starlight by Carrie Lofty, The Iron Hunt and Tiger Eye by Marjorie M. Liu, the anthology Sun, Sand, and Sex, and Alien vs. Alien by Ginny Cox. Then I have the 5 novels in the Heatwave series by Alana Lynn with the new covers. I think that's the latest covers. Saving Me, Last Call, Crossing Lines, Going All In, and Matter of Time. And then after that I have some Shelley Lawrenston books, and she's another favorite of mine that I haven't really purchased. A lot of her paperbacks, which I need to get to. But I have an advanced reader copy of Wolf with Benefits, Bite Me, and a finished copy of Hunting Season. After that I have some horror, and these are both by Jonathan Mayberry. I have not read them, but I'm dying to read his books. I have seen him a couple of times at a conference in New Jersey, and I just think he's really interesting in everything of how he talks about his books, especially the book Dead of Night. And then I have a copy of his Assassin's Code. After that, a couple other books that I have not read. I have This Man and Beneath This Man by Jodi Ellen Malpas. Then I have Double Dilemma by Tara Nina. And next are my hardcovers for Cara Marie Moaning. I have Feverborn because I love this cover, and Iced. Again, this was a cover by. So in this next little area here, I have quite a bit of historical romance. It just happens to be. I have my Courtney Milan books, and she's one of those few historical romance authors that I really, really love. I have The Countess Conspiracy, The Heiress Effect, Unraveled, and Unclaimed, all by Courtney Milan. Then I have How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days or Less by Elizabeth. I think you say her last name Michaels, but I'm not sure. Next, I have The Perks of Loving a Scoundrel and The Spinster's Guide to Scandalous Behavior, and these are both by Jennifer McQuiston, and they're part of the Seduction Diaries series. So next up I have Beck McMaster. I have read the first 3 books in this series, and I believe this is book 4 and 5. This is Forged by Desire and Of Silk and Steam, and these are steampunk. And then the last in this shelf is Kate Meter, and I have Flirting with Fire, Playing with Fire, and Sparking the Fire. So then I have another little one here in the corner. I have an advanced reader copy of The Fangover by Erin McCarthy and Katie Love, Shatter Me by Erin McCarthy, and a few more mass market paperbacks by Erin McCarthy, Flat Out Sexy, Slow Ride, Full Throttle, Final Lap, and Heiress for Hire. Next I have Seducing Cinderella by Gina L. Maxwell. Then I have a couple of books by Kathy Maxwell, When Dreams Come True and The Seduction of Scandal, and Most Scandalous Proposal by Ashley McNamara, That Touch of Magic by Lucy March. And then I have 3 Sarah MacLean books. I have 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake, One Good Earl Deserves a Lover, and A Rogue by Any Other Name. This is my Ronnie Lauren section, and she's another favorite author of mine, so let's get started with her books. I have a little lock and key here. So first I have the advanced reader copies of her books. I have Nothing Between Us, Call on Me, Off the Clock, Loving You Easy, and Not Until You. Those are all the advanced reader copy versions. And then I have my finished copies of Ronnie Lauren's books. So I have the original covers for Crash Into You, Melt Into You, and then with the new covers, Fall Into You, Caught Up in You, Need You Tonight, Not Until You, Nothing Between Us, Call on Me, Loving You Easy, and from her new series, Off the Clock. After that I have Beautiful Secret by Christina Lauren, Starfish and Coffee by Kelly Moon, One Week Girlfriend and Never Tears Apart by Monica Murphy. Then I have Chloe Neal. I have my advanced reader copies for House Rules and The Sight. And then I have finished copies for The Veil and The Sight, and for Drink Deep from the Chicagoland Vampires. And here I have a temporary tattoo that I don't know why I kept in there, and a shot glass from Saints and Sinners in New Orleans. 3-part Harmony by Angel Payne, and No Prince Charming by Angel Payne and Victoria Blue, and Clear by Jessica Park. And down here I have a pair of shackles, and I have my Calypso Masters books, which I have Masters at Arms and Nobody's Angel, which is 1 paperback, Nobody's Hero, Nobody's Perfect, Nobody's Lost, and Nobody's Dream. Then I have Pulse and Collide by Gail McHugh, the advanced reader copy of Burn It Up by Kara McKenna, Untouchable by Ava Marsh, Taking Chances and From Ashes by Molly McAdams, Pushing the Limits by Katie McGarry, The Boy Next Door and Four Corners by Kate McMurray, Give It All by Kara McKenna, the finished copy, The Perfect Life by Erin Noel, Faith and Fidelity by Terry Michaels, Beautiful Disaster and Walking Disaster by Jamie McGuire. Then I have what's left of my box set of Twilight books. I did loan out my copy of Eclipse, and it never came back to me, so I'm only left with Twilight, New Moon, and Breaking Dawn. Last Sacrifice by Rochelle Mead, The Immortal Crown, the advanced reader copy by Rochelle Mead, Succubus Revealed by Rochelle Mead, and then I have my Dark Swan series comics. This is from the Rochelle Mead series, and I picked these up at Comic-Con in New York and had them signed by the artist. I have books 1 and 5 in the House of Camara series by Kristen Painter, so it's Blood Rights and Last Blood. Then by Alison Pang, I have A Brush of Darkness, A Trace of Moonlight, and A Sliver of Shadow. I think those are not in reading order either. Then by Pamela Palmer, I have A Love Untamed, Wolf Untamed, and A Blood Seduction. Tempest Fury by Nicole Peeler. The Lost and the Given by Vicki Peterson, Die For Me by Amy Plum, Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris, House of the Rising Sun by Kristen Painter, and Double Down by Katie Porter. And that is the end of bookshelf number 4, so we just have one more bookshelf to look at. So starting on bookshelf number 5, we are starting with Peas. And here I have The Marriage Mistake by Jennifer Probst, Baby It's Cold Outside by Jennifer Probst, Emma Chase, Kristen Proby, Melody Ann, and Cade Meter. Then I have some Carly Phillips books. I have Karma, Perfect Together, Perfect Fling, and Dare to Submit by Carly Phillips. And then I have Caridad Pinheiro. I have The Lost, Stronger Than Sin, Sins of the Flesh, Kissed by a Vampire. So all those are by Caridad Pinheiro. The Virgin Romance Novelist by Megan Quinn, and The Vines by Christopher Rice. And down here I have Viper, Hawk, and Gypsy by Patricia A. Racy, and Unteachable by Leah Rader. So moving on with the bookshelf, you'll notice that I don't have them in alphabetical order at this point, and that is mainly because I didn't want J.R. Ward, who's my favorite author, to be all the way at the bottom. So I put her here, and then there was some overflow, and the overflow went on this shelf, and then I continued with some W's and Y's up here. So that's why they're not in alphabetical order, although they are just not in the right position. So first, here is my overflow of the J.R. Ward shelf that we'll look at after. This is Immortal, Possession, Rapture, The Bourbon Kings, and The Angel's Share, all in hardcover. Next up I have Joanna Wild. I have an advanced reader copy of Reaper's Fall. Then I have finished copies for Devil's Game, Reaper's Stand, Reaper's Fire, Silver Bastard, Reaper's Fall, Reaper's Legacy, and Reaper's Property. So all those are by Joanna Wild. Then I have by Shiloh Walker, The Protected, and an advanced reader copy of The Reunited. Then I also have a finished copy of Chains, an advanced reader copy of Raised, a finished copy of Lost in Love, and of You Own Me, and all of those are by Shiloh Walker. And I have a couple more Shiloh Walker here. These are advanced reader copies for Headed for Trouble, Darker Than Desire, and The Trouble with Temptation. And last here in this corner, I have books by Samantha Young. I have Down London Road, Fall from India Place, Echoes of Scotland Street, and Hero. So next is my original J.R. Ward shelf, and I'm really running out of room on this one, but I have a couple of pictures with J.R. Ward of the 2 times that I met her, the advanced reader copies for The Angel's Share and The Bourbon Kings. I have a few of her contemporary romances. These were books that she originally wrote as Jessica Bird. I have Heart of Gold, Leaping Hearts, The Rebel, The Player, and Unforgettable Lady. And then here are some mass market paperbacks that I have for the Black Dagger Brotherhood and Fallen Angels series. This is Dark Lover, Envy, Blood Kiss, and Lover Mine. And then I have all my hardbacks of the Black Dagger Brotherhood. I think I have all of them except one in hardcover. So I have Dark Lover, Lover Eternal, Lover Awakened, Lover Revealed, Lover Unbound, Lover Enshrined, Lover Mine, Lover Unleashed, Lover Reborn, Lover at Last, The King, The Shadows, The Beast, and Blood Vow. And then to finish off on this shelf, I have Apprentice in Death by J.D. Robb. I have 3 historical romances by Heather Snow, which I really enjoyed. This is Sweet Enemy, Sweet Deception, and Sweet Madness. I have Festive in Death by J.D. Robb, Sweet Revenge and Sweet Justice by Christy Reese, The Virgin and the Saint by Tiffany Reese, The Mistress by Tiffany Reese, The Angel by Tiffany Reese, The Siren by Tiffany Reese, a finished copy of Bad Romeo by Lisa Raven, and an advanced reader copy of Broken Juliet by Lisa Raven. Okay, so then I have my Anne Rice books, and again, this is another author where I used to have a lot of her books, and I don't anymore. So I have Blackwood Farm and The Tale of the Body Thief, and then I have hardcovers for Blood Canticle, Violin, and The Wolf Gift. Then by Penny Reed, I have Neanderthal Seeks Human and Beauty and the Mustache, Cut and Run by Madeline Urban and Abigail Rue, I Dream of Danger and Heart of Danger by Lisa Marie Rice, Charmed Spirits by Carrie Ann Ryan, The Swan and the Jackal by J.A. Redmersky, and Beyond Shame by Kit Rocha. Okay, so next up I have a little bit of swag from Kylie Scott and Madeline Sheehan. Next up, we'll start with the mass markets. Up here, I have an advanced reader copy of Between a Vamp and a Hard Place by Jessica Sims, and then my finished copies of the series, Beauty Dates the Beast, Must Love Fangs, Wanted Wild Things, and Between a Vamp and a Hard Place. Then by Stephanie Tyler, I have Viper's Run, Surrender, and Promises in the Dark. Then I have my Madeline Sheehan books, and I have Undeniable and Unbeautifully. An Improper Wife by Kian Waters and Tara Scott. And then I have my Kylie Scott books. So I have Flesh by Kylie Scott, and then Lick, Lead, and Deep by Kylie Scott. So continuing on, I have my Paulina Simmons books, and I only read the first one in this series, so I still have to read the rest. This is The Bronze Horseman, Tatiana and Alexander, and The Summer Garden. Then I have Homecoming by Shannon Stacy. Up here I have my Jill Shalvis books. So I have The Trouble with Mistletoe, Second Chance Summer, Still the One, Then Came You, Always on My Mind, It Had to Be You, and Lucky in Love. I have not read these. Then I have my signed copy of Divergent by Veronica Roth, Fighting for Flight by J.B. Salisbury, my advanced reader copy of All I Want by Jill Shalvis, Kyland by Mia Sheridan, The Dom with the Safe Word by Sorcha Black, Leah Shaw, and Carrie Silverwood, and then Shadows of Destiny by Leah Shaw. So down here is my Gina Showalter shelf, and there's a lot of books here that I like. Starting off, I have a copy of the Dating the Undead sort of magazine that Gina Showalter and Jill Monroe put together, and I love this thing. I have bought this as a present for friends of mine that are paranormal lovers. This is just so much fun. It reads like a Cosmo, with articles, with quizzes, with recipes, with lots of pictures. It's awesome. Next I have my Damon Suede books. So I have a copy of Hothead and Bad Idea by Damon Suede, and of course my picture with Damon Suede from RT 2011. So next up is the original Heartbreakers books by Gina Showalter. I have the anthology that starts off the series, All For You, which has also stories by Lori Foster, Susan Mallory, and Bella Andre. The Closer You Come, and then advanced reader copies for The Hotter You Burn and The Harder You Fall. Next I have Lord of the Vampires by Gina Showalter, Last Kiss Goodnight by Gina Showalter, Twisted by Gina Showalter. I have the hardcover for Alice in Zombieland, and the advanced reader copies for Through the Zombie Glass and The Queen of Zombie Hearts. Next I have Dark Taste of Rapture, Savor Me Softly, Seduce the Darkness, and Ecstasy in Darkness. Deep Kiss of Winter, that's with Gina Showalter and Kresley Cole. The Darkest Whisper, The Darkest Pleasure, The Darkest Kiss, The Darkest Passion, The Darkest Craving, The Darkest Seduction, The Darkest Surrender, The Darkest Secret, The Darkest Lie, Burning Dawn, Beauty Awakened, Wicked Nights, and the advanced reader copies for Black and Blue and Last Kiss Goodnight. Next I have Wild About You by Carolyn Sparks, and this is an author I haven't read yet, but I've been wanting to for years. Dirty Magic by Jay Wells. I really enjoyed this book and I have not continued the series. Silver Tongue Devil by Jay Wells, and this is another series that I really enjoyed and I haven't finished yet. And then I have The Lords of Darken by Lynn Beale. I have Nightborn, Nightbread, and Nightbound. I have The Matchmaker's Playbook by Rachel Van Dyken, From the Earth to the Moon by Jules Verne. From the Shifters series by Rachel Vincent, I have Shift and Alpha. That's my two favorite books in the series. And then from the Unbound series by Rachel Vincent, I have Shadowbound and Oathbound. Next I have Reckless by S.C. Stevens, Lion's Share by Rachel Vincent, The Vampire Diaries, The Awakening and the Struggle by L.J. Smith, and I've gotten rid of all my other L.J. Smith books. Lie to Me by Tori St. Clair, Inked Magic by Jory Strong, The Submissive by Tara Sumi, Consumed by Fire by Anne Stewart, Frat Boy and Toppy by Antonino, The Secret of Ella and Micah and the Coincidence of Callie and Caden by Jessica Sorensen, Touch of Power by Maria V. Snyder, and by Bianca Summerland I have Game Misconduct and Defensive Zone. And here for the very end I have, so these are my Laura Wright books. I have Branded, Bonded, Brash, and Broken, which is her contemporary Western books. Then I have Eternal Beast and Eternal Demon. Then tucked back here I have the advanced reader copy for Archangel's Shadows and Shards of Hope by Nalini Singh, Hollywood Dirt by Alessandra Torre, He Will Be My Ruin by K.A. Tucker, 10 Tiny Breaths by K.A. Tucker, and The Girl in 6E and Do Not Disturb by A.R. Torre. Okay, so continuing here, the very last one, we're almost done. I have an advanced reader copy of Archangel's Heart by Nalini Singh, Wild Embrace by Nalini Singh. Now these are Shallow Walker books. I have Deeper Than Midnight and Darker Than Desire by Shallow Walker. If You Hear Her by Shallow Walker, this is the first book in the Ash trilogy. Stolen by Shallow Walker, this is the standalone. Wrecked, Raised, and Busted. Okay, then back here we have Allegiance of Honor, Shards of Hope, Shield of Winter, and probably my favorite book in the series, Heart of Obsidian. Then I have my Guild Hunter books. I have Archangel's Heart, Archangel's Enigma, Archangel's Shadows, Archangel's Legion, and Archangel's Blade. And the rest of my Side Changeling books, I have Kiss of Snow, Branded by Fire, Hostage of Pleasure, Mind to Possess, Caressed by Ice, and Slave to Sensation. Okay, so then I have Vampire's Kiss. This is the Watcher series, and I think this is the second book. I have not started this yet, but I really wanted to, and I completely forgot about it. This is by Veronica Wolf. A Wedding for Christmas by Lori Wilde. Unseen Messages by Pepper Winters. And by J.D. Tyler. This is another series that I really enjoy. Chase the Darkness, Wolf's Fall, Cole's Redemption, and Black Moon, which I still think it's my favorite in the series. Then by Beth Williamson, I have The Bounty, Zeke, and Jake. Skybound by Alexander Bueno. My Kitty Norville books, I have Kitty Saves the World, Low Midnight, Kitty in the Underworld, Kitty Rocks the House, and Kitty Steals the Show. These are all by Carrie Vaughn. Tessa Ever After by Brighton Walsh, Breakable by Tamara Weber, and The Healing and the Dying by L.A. Witt. That's it, you guys. That's my bookshelf tour. Hopefully you're still with me and it wasn't too boring to go through every single book in my bookshelves. Like I said before, I'll have links in the information box below of the shelves that I have on GoodReads that actually have all the books that I have here in my little library. And if you want to see any of my ratings for those books, or if I've written any reviews, then you can check them out there. And if you have made your own bookshelf tour, I would love to come check it out, so leave me the link in the comments below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow us on all our other social media, as well as on the blog at underthecoversbookblog.com. That way you can always keep up with what we're reading and liking. Thanks guys, and we'll see you again next time. Bye bye.